What's going on, everybody? Just want to start today's discussion right here, where we get to see on the board there's going to be different levels of awareness. All right, number one is that you got to define your own personal current level of awareness, because most individuals, they rate their day on the quality of their sleep. Other individuals will rate their day on the quality of their gut health. Others will rate it based upon the productivity of their actual position, meaning are they a consumer or a producer? Next, they could either go ahead and look at the world through the lens of how are these elites making decisions, because maybe once we know what the elites are doing, we can try to position ourselves better by understanding their agenda. And this is where it all goes a little bit more complicated, but we want to continue here because once you are aware of the elite's intention, then you can try to understand the technology that will revolutionize our systems and all of a sudden bring us into this new age or this new world of equality as well as probably globalization. All right. And so there has to be a transition. And this transition period happens right here, as you can see by the black line that runs all the way across. Once you are able to understand what it is that is actually going on in your current generational timeline, then what you need to do is you need to elevate your perspective and you need to take a look at the world from a higher perspective. And what we mean by that is you need to understand what is the role of your generation. You see, you're probably a millennial, Gen X, Gen Z, or a boomer. And one of these four generations is going to lead to a certain end result. Whether you're an older male or a younger female, or maybe you're like me, you're right there at the age of the millennials trying to figure out what it is that we're supposed to be doing. From my personal experience, this right here has been one of the most important discoveries of my life because it's given me an eye-opening perspective to the previous hundreds of years and the future hundreds of years. So you need to understand what tools can you give yourself to really understand the world through others' research, so that when you approach the world and you start, creating these ideas off of what the world is all about based upon the information you pick up today, well, by understanding the fourth turning and these secludes, then you'll be able to understand what it is that you're looking to do for yourself and for your people. But all of this really has little effect, right, when we look at our 80-year timeline, because every 80 years or so a generation will pass. But what we got to look at is the great year, because it determines your level of awakening. You see, wherever the planetary bodies are in space, they will determine this dance that they have with each other. And this dance is what we call the great year. And as the planet Earth and its sister binary star, Isis, right, they move through the cosmos, they will create certain alignments as they move closer and closer to each other until they are within each other's path. Now, this great year is determining our level of awareness. Are we more spiritual or are we more dense? And this is important because whenever we are away from the midline, we are essentially dense, but we're not spiritual. See, when you are closer to the midline of this great cycle or the Golden Yuga, the middle area of this cycle here determines the level of awareness where spirituality, thought, connection, emotions, intelligence is actually the type of resource that you're looking to consume versus the earth's matter. And you need to understand this because there's only two things in life. There's either matter or patterns. Matter is what you can hold. It's the molecular structure, but pattern is the intelligence that all matter follows in order to become matter. A pattern that must be followed. And so we have the paternal side and we have the maternal side. And this is why it's so important that you, as the receiver of this information, puts yourself at the mercy of your true level of awareness. Some people may not have had a good night's sleep, so they won't understand this type of information. Some people don't have a settled stomach with few parasites, with a sealed gut, with alkaline blood and an alkaline pH, so therefore their body can perceive things differently. But if you're someone who's suffering from parasite, indigestion, bloating, gas, all these things, then your level of health is limiting your personal level of awareness that will let you understand what I mean by being a producer or a consumer. Because gut health will consume your attention and it will distract you from becoming your best self by hindering your ability to maximize your daily productivity. If you're worried about going to the bathroom all the time because your gut just doesn't sit right, well, that's going to hinder your productivity. If you're worried about the meal that you just ate, whether it's going to digest correctly or whether your body will absorb it, well, that's taking you away from your best self. And so we got to take a look at these things, because to become an individual of value, we have to be able to master our own self before we start looking at intentions of others. Because in my opinion, this is how it works, all right? If you don't know, this is your own economy. If you don't know how your body works, your own economy, then you're really going to be left in a weird position when it comes to the social or the world economy, right? Because we have to understand how you, as an individual, through your sleep, food, and intention, can determine what it is that the world is looking to do so that you can become a better investor. Because if you are aware of the elite's intention, this is called your research and curiosity, then you will lead to the proper investments. And this is what it's all about. Right now, we are in the middle of what's called the Great Reset. The Great Reset is where those who are aware of the technology that's currently being developed, the infrastructure for the Web 3.0. This is the same thing as when, back when the Prince or the King Charles and appointed somebody to come over here to this new world, right? And so he had Pasteur come over here and had all the wealth to be able to create a railroad company, right? And then to buy land, and then to be able to put legislation to bring these corporations, which are ideas given entities and given responsibilities and rights, these entities, right? The elite's intentions is to create corporations which can become entities, and these entities can then have physical dominance over people. Now this is wild, but what do I mean? Well, when corporations have worked together for many generations, these corporations will own each other. That means that this one will own this one, and this one will own these two, and these two will own another two, and it's all kind of being held back up top right here. But these corporations are hiding each other's dirty laundry. And so what's happening is we've arrived at the Georgia Guidestones, which tells us that population will be managed, but the Georgia Guidestones were put up by the Verizon company, and Verizon is trying to go ahead and drop 5G on the world, which according to these Guidestones will be left to under 500 million. And these 500 million citizens of the world will be destroyed because of the Huawei 5G towers, which from what I've heard are trying to be stopped and re-engineered to become free energy towers, which this is a good thing, but we don't know if it's really going to happen. We're just in the middle of this chaos right now. And so what I'm trying to do is help you understand that an individual who does not get a good quality sleep, meaning 90-minute cycles, if you don't get your 90-minute cycle, then that means that your third eye will be a little bit unsure of how the world really looks, because your third eye will not be fresh. Your third eye needs to be fresh, and it can only happen when you sleep in increments of 90 minutes. So that means that if you sleep 90 minutes, 3 hours, 4.5 hours, 6 hours, you will wake up feeling refreshed without sleep inertia. Plus, these are the moments when you find yourself most connected to source. This is the moment of connection. This is the moment of intention. Connection, intention. Because if you don't have connection or intention, how do you know your mission? And your mission is to become a producer, not a consumer. Becoming a consumer puts you at their mercy. Here, you create what's called cash flow or passive income. And that's the whole point here. That if you don't have cash flow or passive income, then you cannot make proper investments. And without doing the proper investments, you'll be stuck getting poor quality of sleep. So you can see how this small graph or description here of the layers of awareness, we have layer number 1, how you sleep. Layer number 2, the way your gut feels. Layer number 3, are you a producer or a consumer? Layer number 4, do you know what the elites are doing? And do you know their intention for worldwide population? Because if you do, then that gives you a chance to put yourself in a better position by investing in the right assets, because we are moving into a digital economy. And this digital economy, it's different than the debt economy. This is no longer about how much debt you could leverage. This is about, do you have digital assets that you can use as collateral to keep expanding your portfolio, business, or ideas. Now, as we go through this digital economy, you need to understand the role of our current generation. Some of our generation will become artists to express themselves. Others will have to step up and become the heroes of this generation. And what do I mean by that? Well, that means that you have to put your carnal desires to the side. And you have to start looking at, what does your astral soul body really want? You need to look at yourself and wonder, what was I sent here to do? Because if I do not fulfill this mission, I'll be coming back again and again and again in order to learn the lessons needed to, in order to graduate. Because you see, we are in the middle of a great awakening. From May 26th to June 10th, the world is being bombarded with information, love and light, and all that is true in order for us to ascend to the highest levels of enlightenment. But you see, to reach the highest levels of enlightenment, this means that you must self-illuminate yourself. This means that you must illuminate from within. Through intuition, you must follow the steps that you feel are correct for you and guide yourself towards clarity. Personally, I found clarity once I found the truth about sleep. Because if you don't get a good night's rest, how can you wake up determined to crush the day? And you've got to wake up determined to improve your gut health so that you can make proper cognitive decisions without having emotional disruption affecting your personal decisions. And so your gut health determines your position. You see, if I woke up today feeling lazy, down about myself, then I couldn't create or produce this piece of content for you. So I had to make sure I ate well last night. I had to make sure I put my sleeping schedule on point. And I had to make sure that I did my research so that when I spoke with confidence. And I need to speak with confidence because as we get to these higher levels of cycles of awareness, you realize that the only reason these yugas really matter is because we're playing the return. You see, a book was written called the Bible telling us of a return. And the reason is, from my understanding, once again, is that there is a creator of all things and of the physical realm. And you see, the illusion is to make us believe that the physical is all there is. You know that your eyes can see a certain spectrum of light patterns or waves or frequencies, but they do not see all. And that is where the true creator or God is found. You see, not in being deceived by the physical, but by being true to the divine. And that right there is all that is, one can say, we are all one unit. We are all the same. We are all one, right? And that's where it's at. We are all physically the same. We are all vessels. But that's where this really starts to become a little manipulated, because in this world, we are all vessels. So we are manipulated by certain laws. Vessels have certain laws. And so if you can understand this cosmic war, it's about creating an illusion of what is good and evil and making this about praising the wrong thing. Because man was created imperfect. And because man was created imperfect, there has to be a clear line or division. Right here you can see it. Body and mind are split. They're not connected through as one. And this is because the Anunnaki, or what they call the fallen angel, understood that there would be a point when they would come back after 36,000 years, and they would come back right here. We are coming together through this great year cycle, because they have a different orbit that they cycle through. And so this cosmic war of entities in a positive or negative frequency is happening across multiple densities. All right, and you need to understand that densities are levels of awareness, because just like a first density entity can have awareness of observation and awareness of an ecosystem collaboration, well, this is what it's all about. You need to become an entity that understands its place because of awareness in the universe. As you can see, we're going to go ahead and move on this X, Y, Z plane. And if we live on this plane, this is going to be our Z, this is going to be our X, and this is going to be our Y. Well, you, a person with awareness, living in a physical plane of creation called Earth or Gaia, are living here. But you are surrounded by the spectrum of time. And unless you can go within your own mind, close your eyes, and manipulate this perception of reality, not by living in the physical, but by accessing all, through closing your eyes and manipulating reality, going in and out, this becomes another layer of awareness for those who are a little bit more enlightened, who can see past the illusion and can manifest in their third eye through the powers of self-awareness. This all starts with the quality of your sleep, because at the moment that you are starting to wake up, you will transition out of your beta state to your alpha state into your theta state if you allow yourself to. And very few people that allow themselves to enter theta will understand the difference between theta, delta, and gamma. And this is why I speak with so much passion, because at a certain point, you will begin to understand the truth of the human body, which will then let you understand the truth of human history. Because if you understand the truth about the human body, you will understand why it is such a divine, complex machine, that there have been generations of false prophets trying to dilute the truth, hide the truth, and keep control of the human race by deteriorating the health of others. So what is going on right now, we are in the middle of a cosmic war to bring equilibrium back to this world. You know, one of my favorite words, parabellum, is part of that phrase that says, in times of peace, prepare to war. To prepare for war in times of peace is all you could do. But when it's time for war, it's no longer time to be at peace. This is a time to step up. This is a time to create with every second that you have. This is a time to step up for those that may never find the strength within themselves, but they could find it within you. And I hope that through this presentation, you've been able to understand a little bit more about how to take yourself from a low vibrating frequency to a higher frequency through these layers of awareness that will help you understand the true cycles of the human mind and psyche, which will let you develop your own economy so that you can enter the social economy with confidence by knowing which type of investments to make, and then finally being able to enter the etheric realm because of your awareness in generational perspectives. The etheric realm is not just something you can just jump into, but it is a way of seeing the world through an empathetic lens because of generational traumas being solved within your own self. You know, if you don't help your parents overcome their traumas, you'll never learn to see the world through that generation's eyes. And when you don't learn to see the world through that generation's eyes, you don't learn the pains of that generation. And to heal the world, you must be willing to take yourself out of your physical vessel. Your physical vessel. Man, your physical body. I can't speak, I'm an immigrant. But this vessel of yours was given certain laws under what is called maritime law. Maritime law is a false structure for what humanity is to follow. And this is what we're going to talk about today. Over these next few chapters or sequences, we will be discussing the truth of how it is that we arrive at maritime law through all of these different players, all right, and different events. Because what you'll notice here is that there have been multiple key events in our history that have shaped the way that we in this current generation perceive the world. So it is my current mission to help demystify all of this. I've put over 10 years into this research, trying to make sure that not only did I understand the foundation of America, but I understood the leaders of America, and I understood the bloodlines of the world. So thank you for watching. I hope this series helps you understand a little bit better of what it is to be human and how you can leverage your human abilities, time, and complexity and faculties of the mind to really raise your level of awareness, and to hopefully, without a doubt, one day you too will be able to lead hundreds into war because they have found their best self. And this cosmic war that I'm discussing here is simply a war that we must teach each other how to fight, because we fight in sleep. We don't fight this during the day. We fight this during our sleep. Because if each person in the world understands the true value of sleep, of delta, I believe the world can change towards the better end of humanity. Because you see, humanity is fighting a spiritual battle. Not just a cosmic battle, that's in the physical realm. But in the etheric spiritual realm, there is a fight for these vessels. When you go to sleep, the level of your gut will dictate the level of dreams that you will have. And if these dreams cause you to wake up with fear, doubt, uncertainty, or look at yourself like any less, then they are winning the fight in the sleep. You need to win your fight. From the moment you wake up, you should find divine connection. And my goal is to help you slowly to learn how to do that. Because when you find divine connection from the moment of your awakening into this physical body, then you will feel like every second is just being guided by source. Every second that you are on the path is another second that you are witnessing true bliss and you are experiencing true joy. Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you on the next series or in the next video. And if you have any questions, please make sure you comment down below. It is my personal goal to interact with as many souls as possible, for without interaction, there is no evolution. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.